You're live on YouTube.
Perfect. Hey everybody, this is Katarina from Untitled Desserts. We are live now on YouTube for Bake Along number 2. I've also got a whole bunch of people on a Zoom meeting right below me who are slowly joining in. We're gonna wait a few more minutes for people to trickle on as we get started to make our triple chocolate fudgy super amazing brownies. But thank you for joining. And yeah, hope you learned something new. Remember, for both of you guys who were there on Zoom and then also on YouTube, if you have any questions, just you can type it in the chat section of Zoom or on YouTube as well too, or you can just speak up and talk, and that would be great. So yeah, that's basically that. We're just gonna wait on a few more people to make sure everybody joins, but until then, yeah, do you have all of your ingredients set to the side? I've got all your coconut oil, any of your, your coconut condensed milk, can openers, bowls, maple syrup. Like if you have it all, make sure you have it all ready to go. Perfect. Waiting on a few more people. Hey, you want to check if there's a grid view? We're just working through some technical stuff before we get going. Perfect. Wonderful. Yeah, if you guys have the baking mix and you want to get it going, you can take inside the baking mix, there's a flaxseed pack, which got all the flax. This is your egg replacement. You can take that out and open it up and put it in a bowl on the side if you want. Perfect.
You need that right there?
Yeah. You can't see it though, I don't think. You can? Okay. Perfect. We're gonna wait until 2:05 to get this going. I just wanna make sure we have enough opportunity for everybody to join. And for those of you who are tuning in on YouTube, if anybody is currently watching, if you could comment to see if you can actually hear me. I'm using a new microphone, so hopefully we have better audio. But are you watching as well too? Mm-hmm. Perfect.
I'm trying to remove the background light there on that.
Oh, that light?
Yeah. It's flickering.
Okay. Alrighty, we're almost there. Hopefully we have a few more people who come to join us shortly in the Zoom meeting. If not, then we will proceed at 2:05. For those of you who are signing in on YouTube now, watching, you are now tuning into our Untitled Desserts second Bake Along. Bake Along is our way of doing a nice, fun digital baking class while you are in the comfort of your own home. Today we're making triple chocolate fudge brownies. Super exciting. We're going to be using our Untitled Desserts baking mixes for it. If you don't have all the ingredients necessarily on you right now, no worries. This video will be up on YouTube forever, so you can make it again whenever you want. Just sit back, relax, enjoy, and if you can follow along in any way, go for it. And yes, Bernadette, you can take as many screenshots as you want. Absolutely. Perfect. Just gonna check one thing. Make sure people are able to sign on. Yeah, we should be okay. Alrighty. Oh, that's cute. Okay, good. I'm glad, Rebecca. That's really great that she's there as well too. No worries. Have we got some people joining us on YouTube?
Yep.
Any comments or questions yet?
Not yet.
Perfect. Okay, good. I've got Michael in the background as well too, who is helping out with all of our AV and tech today. And if you have any questions, he'll be reading them out for you on YouTube Live. But it is now 2:05, so we're gonna get started. We've waited long enough. Let's get into making brownies. First things first, always, with any recipe, we gotta preheat our oven, 350 degrees. So make sure you start doing that now, set it up. It can be on regular oven turn on, or it can be on convection, as long as it's 350 degrees. I'm gonna go do that right now. Perfect. And once if you've got your oven preheating, we got to go and wash your hands. That's the number one important thing. We're gonna wash our hands for 15 seconds because we're all trying to be safe here. I'm gonna sing happy birthday, which is the fastest way of being able to know that you've actually washed your hands fully. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. I probably sang that too fast because I'm still washing my hands. Anyways. Make sure your hands are nice and clean. Alrighty, I am back. Everybody wash their hands? We're almost waiting for Bernadette to come back from washing her hands. Perfect, okay. Excellent. Okay, so the first thing when making gluten-free and vegan brownies, we're gonna talk about all the different tips and tricks that you need to know to make perfect fudgy brownies every time. So our secret formulation for the way that we do things is we need to make sure that we're always focusing on making something super, super fudgy. And the way that you typically, with regular non-vegan or non-gluten-free brownies, the way you make things fudgy is through the amount of the eggs and the fat. That's the really important part here. So we've taken into account those certain things with our brownies. First things first, egg replacement. We have the flax pack that you guys pulled out of your baking mix. For those of you who don't have flax packs, we're using about 2.5 tablespoons of flaxseed. We're gonna add some water to it, about 1/4 cup. Basically what we're trying to do is we're gonna moisten the flaxseed up so it becomes sticky, kind of like an egg, and it helps replace our egg. So I'm just gonna add about 1/4 cup of water to it. And then if you have a spatula or a spoon around, just mix it up a little bit, just so all the flax gets covered in water. And what this does actually is moistening flaxseed, there is a fat inside every flaxseed, those unsaturated fats that people say makes flaxseed so good. And by moistening it, you're actually creating that gel and that binding that kind of comes with an egg, as well as adding increased moisture. Now, in the bakery, when there's time permits, we actually use sweet potato as our egg replacer, a mashed sweet potato, which makes a really nice fudgy brownie. But for the time being and when you're tight on time, using a flaxseed works just as well. So once you've added your flaxseed and you're good to go, the next thing we got to talk about is fat. To make a brownie fudgy, we need a good amount of fat. So I've specified that you needed 1/4 cup of coconut oil, which is either included in your baking kit or you have measured it out yourself. If you have coconut oil that is solid, you're gonna go melt it in the microwave. I've also included in my bowl the chocolate. So you're gonna take about 1/2 cup or about 86 grams of the chocolate that was included. This is a nice, super high grade premium Belgian chocolate, which gives your brownie a whole other level of like richness and flavor and quality. You can't make good brownies without good chocolate, right? So I put the 1/4 cup of coconut oil, which is about 86 grams, and then 86 grams of chocolate. I put it all in a microwave safe bowl, and I'm gonna go microwave this. If you don't have a microwave at home, you can put it over the stove on a sauce pot, and you can also melt it. Totally up to you. But I'm gonna microwave it because it's easier. And we're gonna throw it in the microwave. Microwave for about 30 seconds at a time, just so your chocolate doesn't burn. Because you've put it in with extra oil, there's less of a likely chance that it will burn, but you also don't wanna microwave it too quickly. So my microwave's over here, so I'm gonna go microwave it. But we're gonna microwave 30 seconds at a time until it is completely liquid.
Hi, Katarina.
Yeah?
The amount that comes pre-mixed, is that the full 1/4 cup?
Yeah, that should be, you're gonna take out a little bit of it. If you have it pre-mixed, melt it, and then you're gonna measure about 2.5 teaspoons out of it because you're gonna use that later. So put that in the microwave, melt it, and then take a teaspoon and measure 2 of them out for later, and the rest of it can go in the bowl.
Okay, thank you.
No worries. Thanks for asking. The same thing with you. Yeah, perfect, we're good. So I've already done 30 seconds. My coconut oil is a bit soft. For those of you who are melting the coconut oil separately, totally fine. You're just gonna have to melt your chocolate separately too. But as you can see, I've already got it a little bit soft. I'm gonna do it in another 30 seconds. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, the people who joined me on Zoom actually subscribed ahead of time to get all the ingredients delivered to their house. They can make this without having to go to the grocery store and have everything that we have available. So if you're interested in that at all for our next bake-alongs, we do offer those as well. If you go to dolltupdesserts.com, you can check it all out there. It really does make it a lot easier for you to follow along if we're all using the same ingredients, right? So if your coconut oil is melting, keep it going. Make sure you melt your chocolate again. Half a cup out of the whole bag of chocolate that I gave you guys. You're taking about a half a cup out of it, because the rest of it's going to be used for later. All right, so I've got a minute on the clock now. My coconut oil has melted. My chocolate is still not fully melted. So I got to melt this a bit more. So I'm going to go in for another 30 seconds. Again, always stirring it to make sure that there's no chocolate that's going to burn on the bottom of the bowl. Everyone's microwave is different. And if you got an old microwave, like the one I have back in my apartment, it can burn stuff very easily. Alrighty, perfect. How's it going, everybody? You getting everything melted? Is everything turning out okay? Nice. If your coconut oil's melted, that's great. Make sure you put your chocolate into it as well, because you got to melt your chocolate and the coconut oil. But remember, it's only a half cup, because we need some chocolate for later. Perfect. Perfect. Let's check on it now. All right, so I had a minute and a half on the clock. My quarter cup of coconut oil and my half cup of dark Belgian vegan chocolate is fully melted. It's looking soupy. It's looking excellent. How are we all doing at home? Good? We almost melted? Got the chocolate? Give me a thumbs up if you guys are okay to proceed. I think Kyla has frozen. It's okay. The next step, so now that you guys are good to proceed, we're going to put it into our mixing bowl. I've got my big mixing bowl here. We're just going to dump it in. Scrape the insides of your bowl out so you get all that chocolatey goodness. Perfect. I might even take my spatula and just scrape it out. Yes?
Just to ask again, the chocolate, or sorry, the amount of coconut oil that we keep aside is
2.5 tablespoons. Yeah. Just stick it, you guys just melted it, so stick it to the side, and you'll use it later for the ganache topping, like the fudge that goes on top. So that's why I say put it to the side. We'll wait for Carla to catch up when she's going, but what you can do now actually, in the interim, if you have your maple syrup, you can dump that right in with the chocolate. And we add maple syrup to our brownies for a couple of reasons, because maple syrup is a bit of an expensive commodity in Canada, even though it's delicious, and also our American friends never can find it as easily as we can. But we add maple syrup because it adds extra moisture to the brownies to make them really, really soft and fudgy, as well as the extra natural sweetness. It adds a little bit of a different flavor than adding just regular sugar. But you can use regular sugar and just add a little water to it and it works just fine. Kyle, is everything okay? Just cool, I just want to make sure that you're following along. You're doing a great job, girl.
We've separated the oil.
Perfect. Keep it to the side.
We've melted the chocolate.
Perfect.
Now we put the chocolate in the oil, right?
Yes. And you still have some leftover chocolate, right? You didn't use all of it? Perfect. Excellent. Okay, you're great. Put it right into your bowl and put the oil and the chocolate together and put it in your bowl, and then put your maple syrup in there too, okay? We're all putting it together. We're going to mix it up. Perfect. And then the next thing we're going to do is you've got your flax seed. you'll see if you pull it out, it's kind of jiggly now and become a little bit more solid, which is good. And you're gonna put all of your flaxseed and you're just gonna dump it right in, which is kind of gross. But this is a really important step to helping bind your brownies together. Perfect. All right, once you've got your flaxseed in there, you're just gonna mix it all up by hand. This is what I love about this brownie recipe is you don't need a mixer to do it. You really can just use some good elbow grease and get it done. Mix it up well until it is combined. It's starting to get a bit more sticky. It's not as runny anymore. You don't have to do too much though, because there's really not that much to mix. Once you've all gotten there, let me know when you guys have all put your flax in. Give me a thumbs up if you're good to go. Bernadette, maybe, I'm guessing, I'm hoping. Kyla, you good to go? Did you put your flaxseed in? Excellent, okay. Next last step before we put it in the oven, you've got your baking mix, the remainder of all the stuff. Now this baking mix contains everything you need. We've got the sugar in there, which we use brown sugar and white sugar to ensure that we get nice molasses flavor. We got our flour blend, and what makes this brownie mix so special is that it's got almond flour in it. And almond flour and gluten-free brownies makes things really, really soft and fudgy. And it's a really nice flavor to help make sure things aren't so grainy. So all you're gonna do is you're gonna take your whole baking mix and you're just gonna dump it in. And mix. And you're gonna keep mixing until it is fully combined and there are no dry pockets. I always like when I'm mixing to always scrape the bottom, go from the bottom and bring it up rather than just sticking to the top. And you're gonna notice, you're gonna say, oh, this brownie looks dry. Like this is kind of like, it's not like a goopy brownie, it's a lot, you know, more of a solid piece once you get there. Totally okay. We do that on purpose because once it goes into the oven, all the oils and fats and sugars will come together and caramelize to make a fudgy brownie. So just because it's not pourable doesn't mean that it is not good. It's just the way gluten-free things are. Like our cake mix, for example, or a cake batter, it's not a runny cake batter at all. It's pretty thick. But when it comes out of the oven, it is soft, it's moist, it's not dry, it's perfect. Really get in it, mix it well. If you want to, you can use your hands. Perfect, alrighty. So it pretty much, when it comes together, it should, I'm gonna pick it up just to show you because that's how easy it is. Like, it should come out like, be like a ball. You can see here, like this is the kind of brownie batter we're talking about. It's not a runny brownie batter, it's almost like Play-Doh. It should basically come off the sides of the bowl once it's been fully mixed. It means everything's pretty much incorporated. You don't have to pick it up to prove it, I believe you. But by mixing it like this too, what we're doing is we're activating the xanthan gum. The xanthan gum is included in all of our baking mixes, and it's kind of like the replacement for gluten. It helps xanthan gum, totally natural, not an artificial thing. It's actually a byproduct of when bacteria eat corn. It makes like this glue, and this glue helps bind things together. It's in a lot of sauces, and a lot of marinades, and it's in a lot of things. And we put it in here to kind of help stick things together and make sure everything sticks. For those of you who have got everything mixed, you're gonna grab your baking sheet now, a 9 by 9 inch baking sheet, or whatever you're deciding to bake your brownies in. Line it with parchment paper, or grease it with more coconut oil if you have some, whatever you want, and you can put your brownies in there and pat them down to the best of your abilities. Make them nice and flat. Perfect. So, I'm gonna grab my baking sheet. How's it going, Kyla? Oh, it looks perfect. Just make sure it's not dry, okay? There's no dry pockets on the sides, but it's looking good. You're doing a great job. Now, one thing I want you guys to do who are baking along is at this point, like, I am always a big fan of tasting my batter before I put it in the oven, no matter what it is. And this is a portion of quality control to do so, to taste if anything's off. Now, nothing in your baking mix should be off, but I want you to taste it because I want you to taste kind of how kind of weird gluten-free stuff tastes before it's baked. So I always like to try it. It's very chocolatey, but it might have a weird taste. And that's because gluten-free flour, when it's not baked, has a weird taste. It just, they're not as neutral as regular wheat flour. And so you might get some weird taste. Once it goes into the oven, all of those gluten-free flours toast up, and all of their natural flavors that kind of taste weird can go away. And all you taste is the deliciousness of the chocolate and the fudge and the sugar. But I always like to taste beforehand because you never know. Maybe something was rotten, maybe something was off, and so by tasting a little bit, you can make sure that you're not going to bake something that's going to turn out horrible. All right, I'm just going to grab this, put it in, get it pat down. And whenever you've gotten it pat down and it looks good to you, you can put it in the oven. If you are going to put anything else in this, like nuts or chocolate chips or cookies or pretzels, you can do this now and like put it on top and squish them in. That's what I like to do, but totally your choice. If you want to keep them plain, I'm keeping mine plain today. Totally your choice. One technique I like to do when I'm pushing my brownies down is I'll take my spatula and I'll kind of hold it like, I don't even know how to describe it. I don't know. I take it and I put my finger on the top and I press it down like that. Makes it a little easier to press your brownies into the pan. And I just do little tiny pats, like pat, 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 pat. You can also do big pats too to help push it along. And you need to press down this batter rather than spread it because it is a thicker batter. It's not a thin, runny batter. Alrighty, beautiful. These are looking and smelling so good. Alrighty, when you're done, show me your pan. Yep, looks good. Oh, it looks great, guys. Nice and shiny too. You guys can go stick it in the oven at 350 degrees. And we're gonna put on a timer. Once you put it in the oven, you need to put on a timer. Put on a timer for 25 minutes. I'll put on a timer too, because we'll all be done around the same time. Okay? Hey, timer, can you set a timer for me for 25 minutes? Thank you.
20 what?
25 minutes. Perfect. Alrighty. Once everybody's got everything in there. Yay! Okay, we got that was the hardest part. That wasn't even hard, it's done. So we've got 2 levels of chocolate out of the triple chocolate that we're talking here. We've got the cocoa powder that was in the brownies, that's chocolate number 1. We've got the chocolate that we put into the brownies, chocolate number 2. And now it's time for chocolate number 3, which is taking the remainder of our chocolate that we have here and making a fudgy ganache. So ganache is a fancy word for a topping that is chocolate-based. Typically, ganaches are made with equal amounts of cream, heavy cream, and chocolate, and you put it on a pot on the stove and you cook it. We obviously aren't going to be doing that because this does not contain any cow. We're going to be doing it the vegan way. And the way that we're going to do it, to replace the fat that you would normally have in a ganache, is we're going to be using coconut condensed milk. So you all got this can of coconut condensed milk. For those of you who don't have one, I am obsessed with Nature's Charm. I'm not paid by them to anything. This is the cans that we use. We get it direct from the importer. I love it because it's a really great quality coconut condensed milk. There's another brand, not as fresh, not as sweet, not as like runny. This is just as close as you're gonna get to regular condensed milk. And it's got it doesn't taste too much like coconut. I love it. For this specific recipe with the remainder of your chocolate that you have, you're gonna need about 3/4 cup of coconut condensed milk, which if you have a scale at home, it works out to about 200 grams of coconut condensed milk, but you can also use your 1/4 cup, so 3/4 cup. So 1/2 cup, 1/4 cup, fill it right to the top, and then make sure you scrape out the insides because it is very, very sticky. And if you want, you don't have to put it into a bowl. You can put it right into your saucepan make your life easier, save yourself on a dish. You're gonna need a small pot to make your ganache. So make sure you have that ready. I'm just gonna go rinse off my spatula really quickly because I'm gonna use it for this as well. But make sure you measure, while you're measuring out, three quarters of a cup or 200 grams of coconut condensed milk. So what I also love about coconut condensed milk is it's not just sugar and it's not just fat. It's a combination of the two, whereas heavy cream, it has sugar in it as well too naturally, but heavy cream is just a lot of fat. So you're getting a nice combination of this sticky sweet, kind of almost caramel-like substance that's gonna help make your ganache really smooth and thick, in addition to the chocolate. And we're kind of working at equal parts chocolate and condensed milk. And we work with equal parts or the same amount because the chocolate, when it gets cold, becomes really hard. Naturally, that's just what cocoa butter does. It becomes solid when it's cold or at room temperature. And so this will help make your ganache stay soft. So I'm gonna put mine into my saucepan right now. Perfect. And this, if you have leftover coconut condensed milk, you can use it for a lot of things. Keep it in the fridge, cover it, probably put it in an airtight container. You can put some saran wrap over it for a few days. You can reduce it down into caramel candy if you put it on the stove for a long time. You can put it into your coffee and make like a Thai coffee. You can use it to make Hello Dolly bars. It's really up to you. I love this. This is probably my second favorite ingredient. We're also gonna have our coconut oil. So remember that coconut oil I told you to put to the side, Kyla? That little bit, that 2.5 tablespoons. We're gonna put that in here as well too. And the last thing that we're gonna add to this is our chocolate. Whatever chocolate you have left, dump it in there. All the chocolate. Perfect. So I'm gonna mix my chocolate with all of my condensed milk together, just to kind of make it spread out and even. Again, we're doing this because we don't want the chocolate to burn when we put it on the stove. And for this next part, for those of you who have the stove nearby or not, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna take your saucepan, you're gonna put it on low to medium heat on the stove. I'm putting it at like a level 5, and we're gonna just let things melt. And you're gonna keep cooking it until all the chocolate's melted. And once the chocolate's all melted, then you turn it off, because you don't wanna overcook it, because then the chocolate will start to seize, and then it won't be yummy anymore. So just until the chocolate melts. As long as you keep an eye on it, you're good. You don't have to stir it constantly. Just make sure you're watching it to make sure that the chocolate's melting and it's not burning. Oh, we're getting a house tour with Bernadette. Oh, this is not the right one. There we go. Oh, okay. Perfect. Alrighty, so my chocolate's already starting to melt a little bit. So just stir it once in a while. Oh, my meeting will end in 10 minutes. If it does end, I will send you a new link quickly, but we're gonna continue. You're gonna just be melting your chocolate ganache. Any questions from YouTube so far?
No, just from Sam saying that the audio sounds good.
Just give a shout out now to Sam, who's watching this. I am using his microphone. He's from Hamilton Rising, which is a media company in Hamilton. And they were so kind enough to lend me a new microphone for this video. So those of you on YouTube actually are getting some great sound quality. So thank you, Sam. I'm glad I got to work out. This time now, we're just waiting for our brownies. If you have a light on your oven, you can check them out. If you don't open your oven preemptively. Just keep stirring your ganache every once in a while. And I'm not an expert on your oven at home, so if your oven's kind of an older oven and it's moving a little slow, you can turn it up a bit, just make sure you stir it a bit more. Really, there's no rush though, because we still gotta wait for our brownies to be done. Which I believe, what's our time check right now in terms of baking?
17 minutes.
So I'm at 17 minutes, so I still got a lot of time. So in this time, you can use, this is the cleanup time. Whenever we're baking, whenever something's in the oven, if you can multitask, you can clean up. Up to you. And if you guys have any questions about brownies or anything in general about executing your perfect brownie, this is your time to ask. Christina, you're joining us. Welcome. We have already put the brownies in the oven and are partway there. But for any of you guys who are joining us late on Zoom or on YouTube, don't worry about it. The video is forever on YouTube, so you can always go back and make this again. It's not like you had to be there once and then you can never see it again. And we always have this video available, which is fantastic. I'm gonna go check on my chocolate. So I'll pull it off the stove right now so anyone who's watching can see, even though it's kind of dark. It's melted kind of. There's still some chunks in it though. The coconut oil's not fully melted yet. The chocolate isn't fully melted yet, so I'm gonna stick it back on there. We're gonna keep melting it. Perfect. Oh, Bernadette, you didn't have enough coconut oil sides. Should I put in more? Yeah, put in at least 2.5. You need to put in at least 2.5 teaspoons. Sorry, Bernadette, I didn't see that until now. But yeah, you need a little coconut oil, and the coconut oil is put in too, just to prevent the chocolate from seizing. That extra fat helps prevent the chocolate from seizing, as well as to make it softer, because coconut oil at room temperature will stay soft, chocolate will stay hard, and coconut condensed milk will stay liquid. So the three of them together make something that is like a fudgy ganache.
We've got a hello here from Bruna Mazzetti.
Oh, hey Bruna. Nice to see you. I'm glad you're tuning in. I hope you're staying healthy and safe. Thanks for joining. So in the interim while we're waiting, anybody who's here, how's everybody doing? Any updates? Anything exciting? What's been something fun that you've been doing at home, or what have you been up to? Let's get some updates while we're waiting. I can tell you from my end, I've been busy. Not only just trying to run what's going on with Dolled Up Desserts and everything here, but we've had tons of orders. And on top of that, we're renovating a new apartment right now and moving. It's me and my fiance, so that's been busy too. But for the most part, yeah, it's just this quarantine time has been jam-packed. Rebecca has been cleaning. I've been cleaning too. That's like a big part of renos is just constantly cleaning. And then when you're working in the kitchen too, it's constant cleaning. Bernadette's also been cleaning. I love it. That's so great. That's so great. How are your classes going, Bernadette? For those who don't know, Bernadette is a wonderful, amazing artist, and she has a bunch of online classes that I think she's putting out right now. You did a lot of in-person classes, if I remember correctly. You can turn your audio on. I'd love to hear. Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, this is a really good process for me to participate in, because one of the things that we're teaching drawing, so it's really important to be in the place where you're learning it. So it's tricky to do it online. There's lots of online art classes, but a lot of them, frankly, are, like we have a pretty 20 years of a good solid product. We don't want to dilute it. So this is interesting. I don't think we can do it like this, because we definitely don't want the students talking back to us as we're teaching. It's like, just do what we say, and then you can chat on the side.
Well, you could. Like I've done. Last week I did a cooking class with my friend Fraser from That Planted Fork, and everybody was silent. Like in his classes, nobody has the opportunity to speak up. I like the interaction, and I think it's really fun. But
I think it depends on numbers, right? Like
yeah.
Let's say we had 24 people,
Then it's hard.
Yeah, possibly.
For sure. Make sure you check on your ganache. Mine's done. It's looking super smooth. Once it's done, turn it off, turn the heat off and stick it to the side just so it doesn't overcook. Again, you just want your chocolate to be just melted. And by all means, you can try some. I'm going to, because that's my favorite. It is really good. Would recommend. Delicious. Cool. That's off now. So then the chocolate ganache, and all we're waiting on is our brownies. And that's it. And by the looks of mine, I'm gonna turn my light on. They're good, they're rising, but they still probably, what are we at, about 10 minutes? What are your guys' timers at? 12 minutes, 15 minutes? Yeah, okay, so we gotta wait a little bit longer. Yeah, 12 minutes and 50 seconds. Okay, perfect. You guys are 12 and a half minutes. Perfect. Kyla, what have you been up to at home? How's everything been? Good. What have you been doing?
Baking.
Are you baking with mom and dad or just you? Just you? Oh wow, your dad must be really happy.
What did you make? What did you make this week?
We made cookies.
Yummy. What kind of cookies?
Chocolate chip.
Oh, wonderful. That's the best.
Oh yeah. Would you tell her what else you made?
Yeah, I want to hear all the treats that you've made. Everybody does.
We made cinnamon rolls.
Yummy. Those are the best. I need to come over to your guys' house. What else have you been making? Anything else? Not really. Have you had a lot of school?
Banana bread.
Yummy. That's the best. Sounds like you guys have been baking up a storm.
She needs something to keep her busy during the day.
That's true. Do you have lots of schoolwork, Kyla? Like, no, not really. Aw. That's all good. For those of you who are also joining us, Kyla is my third cousin as well too, and her dad is one of my cousins as well too, and mom, who's busy in the background there, working hard. They are on the same road as my family cottage as well too. So it's nice to see you guys. I'm glad that you could join us. We actually had about 20 people signed up for this class, and so I'm surprised a lot of people didn't come onto the Zoom meeting today. But regardless, I'm glad you guys are here, and I'm sure they'll join us later. Cool. So yeah, we're just basically waiting right now. I'm gonna turn on, because we're gonna lose our Zoom recording right now. I'm gonna join another meeting and send it out to you guys right now, just so we can patch things up and continue. You'll see me in a second. When you get the new link to your email, just click on it and you can be back on. Okay? See you guys in a sec. Oh, Okay. For those of you who are on YouTube, we are just starting a new Zoom file. Any questions from YouTube right now?
Nope.
Nope.
Not yet.
Not yet. No worries. Perfect. All right, second Zoom link has been sent out. We'll have more people joining us in a second. So for those of you who are on YouTube, while we're waiting for people to come back on Zoom, we basically spent this next little while making our triple chocolate brownies, which is triple chocolate is the cocoa, the chocolate that goes into the brownies, and now this delicious chocolate ganache, which is on my stove. We got some people. Let's admit. Hi, Bernadette. Welcome back. And I think we have someone else joining the meeting. Oh, just us. Perfect. How's everything been at home?
Pardon me?
How's everything been at home otherwise, other than just cleaning?
Well, it's been okay. You know, I twisted my ankle walking
Oh no.
last week, so I haven't been able to do my regular, like we've been walking for an hour and a half every day, and I've been doing yoga and something called Mia. I don't know if you know what that is.
No.
It's kind of a dance exercise, and the teachers have all been doing this kind of thing where they are Facebook Live.
Uh-huh.
So it's great. So you can do everything in your house, but I literally have not done any exercise for over a week. So
Oh, I feel that.
it feels really bad.
It does.
Oh well.
You get so tight. Is your ankle like just rolled, or did you like actually like? Do you think you've injured it worse, or?
I think it's just a sprain. It was really swollen, and now it's almost back to normal.
Right on. Okay. Well, I hope it gets back to normal soon, because it's not fun to not be able to go out. Like even just to walk outside, because you're inside all the time. Like it sucks. You know, we're all waiting for this to let up. Honestly, it's been rough, to say the least. So. Rebecca, other than cleaning, what have you been up to? Just hanging out? Have you been able to work from home at all, or not really?
No, we can't work from home. We're not allowed to take stuff.
Oh, fair enough.
Court documents, right?
Yeah, no, fair enough. That makes sense.
So we just have been lucky to have paid time off.
Well, that's great. Is it just like, because you're working with the Ontario courts, right?
Yeah, so right now I'm in provincial offenses, so traffic, fire code, building code, bylaws. People that get tickets for tobacco that's not licensed off the reserves.
Oh, fair enough. So it's just paid time off indefinitely.
Yep. Yeah, we've been going in one person at a time to work on writing the adjournments. We have about 13,000 adjournments to do from the 11 weeks
Oh, wow.
that we are sitting, but only one of us can go in at a time, so I was in last week.
Okay. So you're kind of going in, but not really.
Yeah, it's just kind of on a sit and wait until they tell us what to do, so it's a little bit frustrating. but
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, it is what it
It
is.
could be worse.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, anything could be worse. But still, it's still not fun. But oh well. How's your daughter's brownies coming along? You said she's how's she joining us? Is she on YouTube?
I was video chatting. She just had like a box mix my dad bought. She's 3 hours away.
Aw, cute.
She's got hers in the oven, and she said, "Call me back when yours are done."
Okay, perfect. Okay, that's good. Where's your daughter live? 3 hours away.
My parents are up in Port Elgin.
Oh, they're up in Port Elgin. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so she's been up there since the start of March break, and will be there for however long year.
Wow. Okay. Oh, I gotta add Kyla Bowles as well too. We got Kyla on 2 cameras going on here. Yeah. Got iPhone and computer.
Yeah,
Perfect.
sorry. The link goes to mine, but then we were trying to get her back onto to her computer.
Perfect. Are we all good now?
I think so.
Perfect. How's the brownies, guys? What's our timer? Are you guys sitting at? My timer is what right now? For your brownies?
I got 5.
5 minutes? Can you guys smell it yet? Because I can. At around the 5-minute mark, like this is the time where you can peek in the oven and it won't be the end of the world if you don't have an oven light. It's really up until like, it's within the first like 15 to 20 minutes that a lot of the baking powder and baking soda does its work with the heat. In the last 5 minutes, most of the time it's just kind of like baking all the remnants of anything that could be raw or anything that's left. So in any recipe, if you want to peek, which I do a lot, you can peek in the last 5 minutes. And like if you do it really quickly and don't open your oven a lot, like just open it a crack, you should be okay. This is kind of bad etiquette for me to say this, but some of us don't have oven lights or have janky ovens, and you can't just turn it on and see it, so it does help. Cool. And everybody's ganache is looking good. Everything is like off. We're all there. You can see it's probably starting to solidify a little bit on the top. Totally fine. Nothing to worry about there. Mine's good. Well, anyways, that's basically, we're just waiting for those to be done. And then once they're done, what we're going to do is we're just going to, realistically, we should let them cool for a tiny bit, a few minutes. But you can put the ganache on top of it and it won't be the end of the world. 3 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. Since my oven runs a little bit on the hotter side, I'm actually going to take mine out now because it is a little hotter. But you guys wait till 25 minutes. It's important you do. Perfect. You guys keep yours in there. I'm pulling mine out because my oven, I know, runs hot and sometimes bakes things a little bit too long. So, any other questions on YouTube? Any comments?
No.
No?
Lots of baking.
Just lots of baking. That's good. Yeah, so my brownies are basically done. I'm gonna wait till you guys get yours out to say, but when you have brownies like this and you know that they're done, our brownies, the way that they end up looking at the top is they can sometimes be a little puffy, they can be a little wrinkly. They kind of change every time depending on what your oven has decided to do. That's the beauty of gluten-free and vegan things. No matter what you do and no matter how consistent you are in terms of technique, they will never, ever, ever turn out 100% the exact same. And that's related to like how your oven was functioning, what the weather was like outside today, if you added a little bit too much or too little water. Like there's so many things that can affect it. Typical brownies might have like a glossy sheen on top, and the glossy sheen on brownies typically is from eggs. That's what causes that. Because there's no eggs in it, you're not gonna get that. It's still gonna be glossy though, because we're gonna throw our chocolate ganache on it when it's done, which is nice. One other thing you can get for your ganache as well too is you can grab a knife and keep it near the side, because we can put a little pattern in our brownies on the top if you just want to have something on the side. I typically would use an offset spatula, but it's amongst everything in the dishwasher right now, so a knife also works, just to make it a nice little design on the top, and I'll show you that after. Whew, this looks so good. I love our ganache, it's so yummy. We're just waiting now. That's basically that. Do you guys have any other plans for the rest of the day? Just gonna hang out? Eat your brownies? Yeah. There's your timer. All right, pull them out. Make sure you put them on some sort of hot plate or something so you don't burn your countertop. Oh, there's my timer. Go get them. Make sure you wear your oven mitts. Don't touch the pan with your hot hands. How are they looking, Bernadette?
They look great. I mean, they don't look dark on the edges or anything, but
That's it. That's good. That's all that matters. As long as it didn't burn, that's fine.
yeah.
That's all that matters. These brownies are so easy that like it will be fine. There's Kyla's got her brownies out. Perfect. Oh, those are some oven mitts that
I
have.
have a question.
Sure. What's up?
We've been making brownies a lot lately for whatever reason, and not with your recipe, so now we're going to do that only.
Aw.
Any kind of gluten-free, Max needs gluten-free, so we use gluten-free recipes, and they often use coconut oil, and I find sometimes coconut oil does a weird thing. It makes it hard, and like, I don't know if there's too much oil, it kind of slick with oil, and then it's hard. Like, this consistency that I'm seeing right now is not what we've been seeing.
What have you been seeing? Like, what do you mean hard? Like, you mean hard after they come out of the oven, or like once they've been in the fridge for a bit?
Like maybe it's overbaked, but it's baked the way they tell, like the way it says in the recipe, and I just don't know. Like, it's thinner and it doesn't.
It's thinner and it's harder, and is the bottom kind of like glossy? Because it could be a bit too much oil. That's sometimes what happens. With gluten-free stuff especially, I always have found in my experience that adding a bit more flour can sometimes go a long way with absorbing oil, because it doesn't, like gluten-free flour doesn't absorb moisture like regular gluten flour does. And so like a lot of recipes you might find online are like they're too moist. Like you saw with my brownie when it was done, it was hard. It was like Play-Doh. It wasn't runny. It wasn't spreadable. It was like a solid rock. And that's because you need that extra flour to kind of absorb all of that moisture. But you'll see when these are done that they're soft and fudgy still. And so with coconut, I like using coconut oil because it's got the closest amount of saturated fat to butter. Like Earth Balance or like a vegan-based cell or something like that. The only thing I don't like about using that in brownies specifically is because sometimes it can like give off weird tastes because the oils in a lot of vegan butters are like a lower burning point. So like an olive oil or something like that. And so any of those sort of oils, it could burn, it can make it taste weird. They also can deep fry a lot faster. So it's kind of, like I'd have to see the recipe, to be honest, long story short, to actually be able to say what's going on. But usually it comes down to too much oil. That's really what it comes down to.
And what is your preferred coconut oil?
I like Nutiva from Costco, like those big tubs.
Okay.
That's what we buy usually. Because I buy refined coconut oil, and the reason I buy refined is because it doesn't have the coconut taste, which can sometimes be overpowering. Some people are like, oh, refined oil is bad. Well, refined coconut oil, the way they do it, it's a light refining, so which means like they actually just shine like a certain wavelength beam at it to kill a lot of the bacteria in it, and it gets rid of a lot of the flavor. It's not like they're overheating it or super processing it. It's really not a very strenuous process. It just gets rid of the coconut flavor and makes it more versatile. Whereas like a virgin coconut oil, not only is it more expensive, but it's also just like tastes like coconut. Anyways, your brownies are out. Everybody's look good. You can pour your chocolate ganache on top. Just go for it. Try to spread it out a little bit. I wouldn't put it all in the middle, just because then it's going to be a little bit harder to push out. But scrape your pot out. Get all that ganache. Save the rest for later so you can lick it with the lick it later. Because no ganache to waste. You know, like you lick the beater when you're a kid, or like me, lick it always. Get all of it out. Excellent. Alrighty, put this to the side. I'm gonna use my spatula to spread it out a little bit. You can use your knife too. Again, with my spatula, all I'm doing, here, let me hold this up so I can show you. All I'm doing with my spatula is I'm just taking it and I'm kind of like dabbing it and spreading it along. Not a lot of pressure, just trying to move it and push it to every edge or corner of the pan. And this chocolate ganache recipe too, you saw how easy it took. It was like no time at all. And you can put it on anything. We usually make a whole bunch of it and we'll put it inside of our cakes, like our red velvet cake. This is the ganache that goes on the inside of it. We put it on our, anything that has a chocolate ganache, like a cookie or a brownie, or like if we're making like a chocolate insert for a cookie, we'll make balls of this and freeze it. You can put it on ice cream. And it stays in the fridge for a really long time. There's nothing really that is in there that goes bad. So you can keep it in the fridge for like 2-3 weeks. You can put it in the freezer forever. Once you've spread all your ganache out, I'm gonna take my knife. Hold on, I'm just gonna close this file. I'm gonna take my knife and you can use either side, doesn't really matter. And what I'm gonna do, let me show you, is I'm gonna take it, I'm just gonna run it along the edges back and forth, like kind of like a motion like this. And what I'm trying to do is kind of make like a wave through it to give it a kind of like a nice, gives it a nice professional look, you know, like those brownies that come out and they've got like different ridges on it. Gives it a nice ridged look, makes it look a little bit nicer. You might have to dig into it a little bit, but this ganache is thick. It'll also help spread it out a bit if you haven't spread it out fully evenly. Oh, there's a lot of ganache on here. Woo! If it's too much ganache, you can take a little bit off for you, but I love ganache. This is like the best part of the brownie. It's like you have brownie as the base and the top is just like chocolate pie. We actually use this in chocolate pie too. This is the base of our chocolate pie, which is something that we don't make in the public, but it's a good one. You can do any design you want to if you want to do like a whatever. like I don't know, like a circle or a spiral or whatever you want. It's really your choice. Sometimes the other thing with this too is making these ridge designs. I'm going over it a few times. Sometimes you gotta wait for it to cool a bit more, and sometimes it's a bit easier. Because we're putting it on hot brownies, it might be a bit hard, more challenging, but it'll work. And that's it. We're done. Good job, guys. You got your brownies now. I highly suggest you wait for it to cool because they're gonna be a mess to eat right now. But if you're brave enough to go ahead and dig in right now, you can grab a fork or a knife and go ahead and eat some. You might burn your mouth though, just warning you, because they are very hot. But that's basically that. Do you guys have any other questions? Feeling good?
No, it's great. Look delicious.
Yes. Rebecca, I saw you had a question there. I didn't ask it. What about those who have coconut allergies? What should we use instead of a crowd that has a coconut allergy? So again, you could use another vegan butter replacement if you wanted to. Like I love coconut oil. I'm not saying that Earth Balance won't work or vegan-based style won't work. It will. It will just taste different. That's the thing. You can use it in the exact same proportions and swap it out. Like what, do you have like another vegan butter that you prefer at home? Like anything in particular?
It is Earth Balance because that's what my mom uses.
Yeah, Earth Balance is good. Yeah, honestly, Earth Balance, you can do it with Earth Balance and it'll be fine. It's not the worst. It's not my personal preference, but you know, there's different people with different allergies. In terms of coconut condensed milk though, that's something that there is no other kind of vegan coconut condensed milk. So that one, unfortunately, I can't do much about it. I haven't yet found a product that is like that, that has that consistency. So if it happens to appear, I'll let you know. And that's it, guys. Any other questions?
You have to put it in the fridge.
You can put it in the fridge. For now, just leave it on the counter to cool, because if you put it in the fridge too quickly, it can actually make the ingredients seize. Right now, it's still baking. Like, because it's still hot, all the ingredients are still baking a little bit, so just leave it on the counter, and then once it's done and cooled off, you can put it in the fridge if it makes it easier to cut. I sometimes stick it in the freezer. What I like to do when you guys are cutting these, because you have all the parchment paper on the side, or if you didn't use parchment paper, you can use a knife to cut the edges, but with parchment paper, you can put this whole pan in the freezer, let it become solid, take it out. You can literally pull your brownies out in one piece and put them on a cutting board and then cut them very easily. I like to put them in the freezer, but you can also stick them in the fridge and they'll be fine too. But just wait until they're completely cool, okay? Cool. Anything else, guys? Cool. Thank you so much for joining me. And yeah, have a great day and enjoy your brownies. Let me know how they taste. Send me a message.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye. And that is it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in on YouTube. I hope you enjoyed. If any of you guys are interested in baking along with us next time, we're going to be making lemon loaf with a raspberry jam in the 2 weeks from now, Sunday, May 3rd at 2 p.m. EST. You can find out more information about that in the description below, or you go to dolltupdesserts.com or our Instagram at dolltupdessertsbaking. I thank you so much for joining us and tuning in. And if you have any other questions about making delicious brownies, put them down in the comments and we'll be happy to answer. Thanks so much, guys. All the best.